Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot to talk about. Hit subscribe right now. We are on our way to 120,000 subscribers. Tell your friends about these live streams. We have the best, pound for pound, the best live stream on YouTube. I have about 117,000 going on 120,000 subs. And we average around 1,000 people per live stream. You look at other channels in the millions, and they average a couple thousand to 5 or 6, but I'm only at 117,000. I still have around 1,000 people live watching every live stream. It's pretty awesome. And we have everyone here. Let's go ahead. Hello, Dan Smith. Hello. Thank you for watching from China. Hello, everyone from Poland. Poland, thank you so much. Marcin, thank you. And let's get started. So, first things first, White House counsel Don Mcgahn. If Trump committed a crime, if he told Don Mcgahn to commit a crime, if he was hiding a crime, he's the White House counsel, not Trump's personal lawyer. He works for the country, the United States of America. He would then be forced to resign or notify Jeff Sessions of an actual crime. See, the left is so utterly inept. It's stupid. He's speaking to the Mueller probe. The New York Times says he's flipping and singing. How many people were supposed to flip and sing? Rhonda, Iowa girl, thank you so very much. Rhonda, Iowa girl, thank you. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And it's just so wonderful. These live chats are just fun, amusing. They're great. And it's just so wonderful to have you here, Rhonda, Iowa girl, and everyone here. Thank you. But number one, we'll just get to it really quickly. Don Mcgahn, he's not going to flip on and sing on Trump because he doesn't. It's not like, let's say Trump worked with Putin and sent love letters to Putin and said, please go ahead and hack the DNC. Horace, shalom aleichem. Thank you, Horace. Thank you so very, very, very much. As always, Horace, thank you. And Rhonda, Iowa girl, thank you. Let's say, for example, Don Mcgahn said, oh, well, gee, President Trump really worked with the Russians. He really pulled a fast one on the American people. My God. He's a government employee. The White House counsel is a government employee. Doesn't work for the president. So, thank you, David. Hello, Jim. The White House counsel, Don Mcgahn, and everybody else in the White House counsel would be obligated. So Horace, Rhonda, Iowa girl, they would be obligated to inform the American public that you had a criminal in the White House. And if they covered up a crime, then they too would be part of any obstruction. Okay? That's number one. So Don Mcgahn isn't, just because people think oh my God, talking to Mueller. Thank you, Veteran Anarchy. Thank you, Veteran Anarchy. Thank you so very much for always watching. Thank you. Thank you very much. So people think he's speaking to Mueller. Well, Papadopoulos is speaking to Mueller. Well, spoke to Mueller. And now he's very likely, if he listens to his beautiful, intelligent wife, going to reverse that plea deal. He's not going to plead not guilty because he's not guilty. General Michael Flynn cooperated with Mueller. He didn't even lie. And then they tried to get him on line to the FBI. All because he spoke out. Prawn D, super chat karate chop. Wow. Prawn D, thank you so much. Thank you, Prawn D. Thank you. Horace, thank you. Rhonda, Iowa girl, thank you. And Prawn D, thank you. And so you have a situation where they're like, oh, he's going to flip and sing. The only reason Mueller exists is for political, not just political, emotional retribution, emotional revenge. They have no idea how Trump won. They have no clue. The left is in complete chaos, anarchy. They're being crushed by the weight of their own corruption and insanity. They are being absolutely decimated by their loony, insane, groupthink, maniacal, cult-like behavior. Everybody's a Nazi. Everybody's a sympathizer, enabler, supremacist. Everything's a euphemism. Everything's a boycott. By the way, they're trying to boycott Sam Adams because the Boston mayor's like, I'm not drinking there because you said something nice about Trump. 60+ million people said something nice about Trump. They voted for him. These people are stupid. They're like, oh, well, if we shame people, that'll give us momentum. It's like, Denise, hello. It's like, it's not going to give you momentum. It's so stupid. Just like on Twitter, they're like, oh my God, Trump's civility. You have not seen you have not seen bullying and intimidation unless you're like a Bernie Sanders voter in 2015 and 2016. All the pragmatic people, all the wonderful pragmatic people stated that, oh my gosh, you are going to give Trump the election. You don't understand. Clinton is the most pragmatic. Robin Russell, thank you. Thank you, Robin Russell. Thank you, Robin. And then we get to John Brennan, who, really hilarious. I have this clip right here. Go type it in. I texted it to myself. Rudy Giuliani on McGahn's testimony, origins of Russia probe. So Giuliani is like, yeah, that would be great. That would be so awesome if we had old John O'Brennan. I'm going to take you to court. I'll see you in court. I'll see you in court, Trumpy. Well, let's see. Giuliani on McGahn's testimony. Okay, so wait, that's here. Giuliani. And they're like, what am I getting here? What's going on? Okay, hold on. Lord. Okay, so hold on. Giuliani, McGahn's testimony, origins of Russia probe. All right, let's see if I can get this here. This is unbelievable. So now, hold on. Watch Rudy Giuliani on McGahn's testimony, origins of Russia probe. I don't know why this is not. I'm trying to find this great segment here. Hold on. Is it Fox Business? Fox News, August 19th. Yeah, I'll just go on Fox. So, okay, so it is right here. So here we go. Where is this? Oh my God, I can't find it still. This is crazy. Anyway, the bottom line is that Rudy Giuliani was basically saying, bring it. Let's go ahead and get Brennan. Get Brennan in a deposition under oath. And this way we can go ahead and ask him a whole bunch of questions. Could you imagine asking questions like, what do you know about the Steele dossier? You're calling Trump a traitor. Why didn't you notify Trump of Russia collusion? Who gave you the Steele dossier? What do you know of Bruce Orr's connection? What do you know of Comey? Why did Comey tell us about the emails that Clinton received from the CIA on her unencrypted server? Did you know about those emails? So it's like you could simply go ahead and turn the tables. They can't. First of all, you can't sue Trump. He is the leader of the executive branch. The CIA and all of these agencies fall under the executive branch, and you can't go ahead and sue him for engaging in his right. It is his right to go ahead and engage in pulling security clearances. Second, it's actually a threat to national security to have all of these ex-government employees retaining security clearances. You have no idea their personal, financial, political loyalties after they leave the government. You have zero clue. There's zero reason why they should be. They should have the ability to look at information that no other American could look at. There's zero reason why. And he's already stated that John Brennan should go before a grand jury. So, and this is Giuliani. Oh, here's the finally. Here it is.
I didn't realize until all this evidence started to come in is this is all being orchestrated by John Brennan. Now, because he's the one ultimately, when the Steele dossier is worth nothing, when none of it proves to be true, when none of it is verified, as even Comey said, none of it was verified, and they used it as the basis to get wiretaps, he peddles the report to Harry Reid. In a total setup. He goes to Reid and says, here's the report. They all go through it. If you read it, believe me, Maria, you'll immediately come to the conclusion that it's way out crazy.
It's so horrible that BuzzFeed is suing the DNC to protect itself from lawsuits. Hello, Sandra. Hello, everyone. Once you read it, it's like, well, wait a second. BuzzFeed published an unverified salacious dossier, then wonders why it's getting sued. Well, that's you probably should not have published something that you knew was complete gossip and hearsay simply because of a couple of Mother Jones journalists and FBI agents who were unethical and pushed in the frenzy and hysteria of Trump's victory. People were so mortified. They weren't just embarrassed, they were mortified. They couldn't believe Trump won. They couldn't believe he won. So like, oh my God, it has to be Russia, has to be Russia. They still don't know how many votes were altered in swing states because Admiral Michael Rogers has stated in front of Congress under oath that zero votes were altered. Zero votes. And it's just unbelievable. It's like you have a situation where people believe in myths and fairy tales, and then they get so happy when they're like, oh, Hillary had no control of the uranium deal. See, well, it's not a matter of that. Cash flow to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. There you go. Vern Crow, never tell our HRC eat me. What? Vern Crow. Vern Crow, thank you. But John Brennan goes and speaks to Harry Reid and tells Harry Reid during the election that, oh, by the way, the Russians are interfering. Why doesn't he go and speak to McConnell? Why doesn't he go and speak to the RNC? Why doesn't he go to President Obama? Obama was Brennan's boss. That's also why he didn't go to his boss, because he didn't want to implicate his boss. It's so obvious. Everyone was beholden to President Obama. the Committee on Foreign Investment, when Joy Reid at MSNBC says, you do realize, right, that the Committee on Foreign Investment overlooked, oversaw the sale, had the ability to veto. Obama had the ability to veto. It had to pass, though, the Committee on Foreign Investment. Which person there was going to say, "Oh, I'm going to resign in protest. We can't do this." Everyone had a job to do. You don't get to that level, especially in Obama's administration, without being a yes man or a yes woman. Same with Trump. Except Trump actually hires people who then, like Omarosa, who then goes ahead and, or Michael Cohen or whatever. People betray Trump. People don't betray Obama. The intelligence community hates Trump. The intelligence community loved Obama. You can tell Trump is probably a more genuine person. If you don't like his personality, tough. That's his personality. I didn't really like it when Obama was like, I didn't know about a private server. I learned with media reports. You mean you're running a White House where you have no idea your Secretary of State is using a server outside the United States government that even the NSA theoretically doesn't know about? Right. Becky Pamplin, I wish I could give you $500, but alas, anyway, they are allowed to retain security clearance after they are out of office. Becky Pamplin, just you watching. For me, everybody watching, that's my biggest thrill, and I'm so grateful. The fact that anyone would give anything in the super chat is just like icing on the cake, and thank you so very much, Becky. Yes, they're allowed to give, Becky, get this, they're allowed to keep their security clearance as a courtesy, a professional courtesy, in which John Brennan says, Trump is a treasonous traitor. Lawrence F., is it possible? Thank you, Lawrence, as always, thank you. Is it possible that Obama and Clinton asked Russia or has used Russia hacking to win elections, but double-crossed Clinton? Is it possible that Obama and Clinton asked Russia or has used Russia hacking to win elections, but double-crossed Clinton? I'm not sure if I understand the question 100% right. Hello, Obama asked Russia or has used Russian hacking to win elections. I think that it's so fabricated that Russia is not part of the equation. I think what they did actually, they could have picked if let's say Trump, see, the neoconservatives are not against China so much. They're not against North Korea so much. They are against Iran, but not as much as Russia. So, and plus we have, decades, the American subconscious. Hello, Azande X. Hello. The American subconscious, Lawrence, is we're all, I remember in the 80s watching like, Webster or like, Family Ties, and there would be like the Cold War episode. How many people remember the Cold War episodes, right? Where it was like, oh my God, what's the point of all these nuclear weapons? Now we don't have that, but it's ingrained in our consciousness. So Lawrence, I think what took place is that the Obama administration is like, look, we have $1.2 billion in donor money. We have donors. This is not about the American people. It's about donors. We have all this donor money, and we basically flushed it down the blue wave toilet bowl. What do we do now? Let's go ahead in case we lose, because the smartest people, like, I don't know, H.A. Goodman, I was saying that Clinton was going to lose in 2015. I was saying she was unelectable. The smartest people are also saying that, hey, they probably knew that Trump was going to win. Okay. When I was at CNN, I remember in the makeup room, there was one segment I was on. I remember a very famous CNN host and not going to tell you his name, but a very famous guy was in the room with me, and he said he was saying that, you know what, Trump could give Clinton a big problem. And so I knew then there were a lot of people who were like, yeah, Clinton's not going to win. So what they did was they were like, okay, what? So he wants better relations with Russia. We're going to pretend, since we sold them uranium, since we actually have William D. Campbell, who's an FBI informant, since we actually purchased a Steele dossier with, Russian intelligence sources, quote unquote, alleged to have helped compile the dossier, we're just going to go ahead and say that he's a Russian operative, and everyone will believe it. Everyone will believe it. If you go on hagoodman.com, it's my website, you can see I've been on a whole bunch of, like, I was on CNN, MSNBC. They don't have all my RT segments, but if you type in HART, I've been on like 9 RT segments, 8 or 9. And Mike, that's I would never allow that. But thank you. But so Lawrence, I think what they did was very simple. They just said, hey, listen, what's the easiest propaganda spin? We say that the Russians have something on him because, he's like a mobster, and he's like, we can just say that he was in Moscow and he did a whole bunch of bad things. And, he has business deals all around the world. And, the neoconservatives, they hate Russia. So let's go ahead and just say that he was part of this Russian plot. And then all the xenophobes who are the social justice warrior xenophobes. You said something sexist. Blame Russia. This is the Democratic Party. You better not say something sexist or racist. It's all Russia's fault. What? Do you not see the irony there? No. Well, we have evidence. Well, what is it? Oh, it's the DNC was hacked. How do you know? Well, how do you know? Well, CrowdStrike, we paid for the assessment. Oh, my God. The NSA is only moderately confident. The CrowdStrike was outsourced by Hillary Clinton, and Fusion GPS and Steele dossier was outsourced by Hillary Clinton. Clinton paid for both the Russian hacking and the DNC, interference and DNC hacking, and not one vote was altered by a Buff Bernie coloring book Facebook ad. Most of the Facebook ads were seen after the election. There is not one Russian hacker indicted. And if there's an idiot out there who thinks that Russian hackers were indicted, read the actual article. We have technology now that you can go ahead and through a voice find out exactly where the person lives and exactly what they do for work and exactly just everything about them, their birthday, their social security, everything, just from a person's voice. And the NSA is like, oh, we're moderately confident. There's so many ways to find out exactly who people are and exactly why they're doing things and exactly why they're hiding. Yet the NSA is moderately confident. And there's no Russian hackers. Actual people who hacked. I'm not talking about people who are part of an overall conspiracy. It is the biggest, it's the most fake news, the biggest hoax. And millions of people believe it. And they've suspended logic because of Trump's personality. They don't even care. They've suspended logic. They don't care. Like, well, it happened because the intelligence community is unanimous. No, who cares? They're moderately confident. The NSA is not certain. The CIA is not certain because there hasn't been a crime that's taken place. We have no idea of a crime that's taken place. We have absolutely no idea of a crime that's taken place, but, oh my God, we should go ahead and worry about, censorship and all that, and they'll still lose. They cheat Bernie, they blame Russia without evidence, they censor people, they condemn people, they call for boycotts, they kick people out of restaurants, and they will lose miserably in the midterms. And then they'll go and turn their hatred towards Bernie supporters. So I'm warning everyone who's a Bernie supporter, Bernie Sanders, they're going to attack. And then Bernie will not start a third party because he was cheated and his $200 million was taken from his voters. And he was like, okay, let me kiss the ring. If you get slapped in the face and let's say you're a politician and your voters get $200 million taken from them and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, everyone. you go ahead and you engage in, you allow people to cheat you, or you find out they cheat you, and then you're just like, oh, well, they're really good. Vote for them. I mean, give me a break. And here's the thing. Look, I would rather Trump not say certain things. You know, I would rather he not say certain things. I like LeBron James. I don't think he should have said anyone's a dog. Of course, you know, backstabbing people are horrible, but, you know, you don't have to go ahead and give added ammunition. But Trump has pretty much, you know, he's done it his way. He's like Frank Sinatra, does it his way, completely and utterly different. And it drives them mad. It drives them crazy. They don't know what to do. They're looking under rocks. They're like, we're going to find Russian hacking. It's underneath this laptop. It's everywhere. Lawrence F. Brennan equals CIA PSYOPs. Pretty much. Pretty much. Because Brennan, and I agree with you, Lawrence, Brennan, you have to have a guy like Brennan who just works for the deep state in every single way. Britton Johnson, hey, HA, just want to sidebar and get your opinion on 228, on 228. Keep up the great work, bro. Respect. Woodley or Till? Oh, UFC 228. Tyrone Woodley is awesome, so he's just really awesome. Let's see. Well, Tyrone Woodley is pretty awesome. I guess I'll just always go with Tyrone Woodley. He's really, 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 really good. Really good. I mean, Darren Till could win. I don't know. Valentina looks good. I don't know. I mean, they're both amazing. I don't know. I mean, my knowledge of UFC 228 is very limited. I just know that Tyrone Woodley is very, very good. And I wouldn't really, I could imagine him continuing to dominate. So what's his record? Tyrone Woodley's record. He's pretty awesome. He is awesome. So he is. Why is it so difficult? How do I read this thing? Oh, he's 18-3-1. Yeah, he's awesome. Let's see. I missed the super chat. Papa D, thank you so very much. So Britton Johnson, yeah. That's pretty much I guess my assessment. Lawrence F. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's finish this.
It's almost like it's almost written like the threat letters that you get. And he gives it to Reed, and Reed then composes a letter to Comey and tells Comey he has to investigate, but doesn't really base it on the dossier, because Comey knows the dossier is phony.
Right.
And so Comey starts the investigation, and then eventually, Mueller takes over.
So what are you going to do now if John Brennan sues the president? That's what he said on Meet the Press this morning, that he's going to come up with a legal pushback for losing the security clearance, and he says he wants to make sure nobody else loses this.
Everyone, please God, please Lord, please sue. Please sue. And please take every single security clearance away from Sally Yates and Sally Moyer, Kevin Kleinsmith, Lisa Page, James Clapper, James Comey, if he still has one, leaking classified information. Noble 3333, thank you. Revco, thank you. They were confident, exactly, of WND and Iraq as well. Papa D, thank you. Noble 3333, thank you so very much. It says 10 on the. Let me go ahead and see this. Noble 3333, thank you so very much. But let's go ahead and it'll be wonderful because Democrats will then be forced to talk about everything but policies. And then they'll wonder, like, oh my God, how come we lost to the Republicans again? It must be Bernie's fault. Let's hear what Giuliani says.
Well, then we take his deposition right away. As the plaintiff, he'd have to go first. And I volunteer to do that case for the president. I'd love to have Brennan under oath for, I don't know, how many days? 2-3 days? We'll find out about Brennan, and we'll find out what a terrible job he did going back to being the head of mission when the Cold War Towers was bombed and our Marines were killed. So we can see what he did or said about Benghazi. How he lied and told about that. Well, I don't know if I'll go back that far to when he voted for Gus Hall. And anybody out there ever vote for a communist?
What are you going to do, Rudy? I mean, at the end of the day,
how do you become CIA director if in the midst of the Cold War you voted for a communist? I mean, only Obama would pick you, and he had a terrible time getting through the Senate because, number one, he was in charge of a lot of waterboarding and defended it. Then he changed his mind about it. Then he was in charge of the drone strikes where you picked out the terrorists he didn't like and you put bombs on them instead of taking them and interviewing them. Plus, he claims to be a great lover of Islam.
So, obviously, Brennan is contradictory in a whole lot of things. Let's hear it again because, well, let's go ahead. Let's see what John Brennan talks about. John Brennan, here's this guy who on CNN giving comfort and aid to the enemy. How is he? Well, first of all, we don't even have evidence. His own CIA is only highly confident. That's a problem. His own CIA is only highly confident. How are you highly confident about something? This is after a press conference in Helsinki. Lawrence F., I want to see President Trump clothesline Brennan. Exactly. That'd be a great meme. Britton Johnson, thank you so very much. So let's go ahead.
Republicans need to do today on the Hill. Well, I think there's a big question, first of all, in terms of those who are on Mr. Trump's national security team, whether they can continue to serve in good conscience an individual who basically betrayed his nation.
He basically betrayed his nation. Why? Because he didn't go along with the stupid myth that the DNC was hacked to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was being cheated by Hillary Clinton, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and Donna Brazile. And because he didn't believe all of that, he betrayed his country. They have made their myths into national security.
But then the legislators on the Hill, especially the Republicans, need to ask themselves what they should do in order to try to protect and preserve this country's liberties and freedom, despite having Mr. Trump in the Oval Office. And so I think the outcry needs to be strong, it needs to endure, and they need to then also take action, whether it's a censure or whether or not they are going to decide that this is not the Republican Party that they once knew, that they need to step away from it, like you did. That this is not what Ronald Reagan said, meant when he said to Mr. Gorbachev, bring down that wall. And I heard the words that were just said in the film clip about simple-minded appeasement is folly. And that certainly is true. And so those Republicans on the Hill need to do more than just speak out and criticize. They need to act. They need to put pressure on Mr. Trump. And they need to...
So here's a guy who's like, I deserve my security clearance. He's telling people in Trump's administration and in Congress to actively go against the president. And this guy is like, oh, well, don't take my security clearance away. Well, it should be a partisan. Like the notion that Trump shouldn't because that he was angry. No, he should say, I'm glad I'm pretty much did. Trump has every right to be like, I was very angry at the guy and I'm taking his security clearance. He doesn't deserve it. He's trying to go ahead and he's basically going ahead and asking for demanding insurrection. I mean, you know.
Send a clear signal that this is intolerable and they are going to act upon it.
Mr. Director, obviously Dan Coats yesterday moved quickly and honorably to stand up for the men and the women who have given their entire adult lives to America's intel agency, also the men and women in uniform that helped in uncovering the interference in America's democratic process in 2016.
The idea of interference, see, they're like, well, his own security people. This is so stupid. It's like, well, look, Dan Coats said the same thing. Dan Coats never said that Trump worked with Russia. That's the whole big ball of wax, the whole thing. The whole thing was Trump worked with Russia to hack the DNC and to work with WikiLeaks and Julian Assange to hurt poor Hillary Clinton. No, never happened. Never happened. Ask BuzzFeed. They're suing the DNC. Never happened. It never happened. So, you know, it's like... And they're going to lose again. They're going to lose again. Thank you, Sean, for this link. Michael Cohen reportedly under investigation for $20 million in bank fraud. Not Trump's problem. Probably shouldn't have tried to flip on Trump and tape him. Maybe you would have been pardoned. Or maybe you still will be pardoned. Who knows? Very likely. Very likely he'll be pardoned. So I mean, you have a situation here where, okay, let's just continue this.
Would you recommend, do you believe it's actually necessary for other members of Donald Trump's foreign policy team and intel community, like Mike Pompeo, like the Secretary of Defense, General Mattis, to come out today with similar statements?
Why would Joe Scarborough be leading Brennan, who is more than happy to be led, into this overt attempt? Like they couldn't have this media-driven, Steele dossier-driven coup. They couldn't knock the president out in terms of impeachment. They're going to lose in the midterms, and now they've resorted to just, oh my God, they fomented such ridiculous hate against, and they're like, oh my God, this is like 9/11. This is like Pearl Harbor. No, it's so stupid. They're the biggest bunch of idiots on the planet. Who would even believe that? Who would even believe that? And then, of course, he's being led right to where he wants. Yes, I do believe. I believe it's everyone should just leave right now. It's just unbelievable. It's and they're going to wonder why they lost the election.
Supporting and defending the men and women who sacrifice everything often in defending this country.
Well, good on Dan Coats to stand up for the women and men of the intelligence community, and those who
women and men of the intelligence community. They're government workers. You don't owe the Horace. Thank you so very much. I can't read that, but thank you so very much, Horace. I can't read it, Horace, but thank you. Thank you, as always, for your support. Thank you. They're government employees. You are a government employee. Do you know who does a lot more work and whose work is infinitely more important for the country? If you work for the United States Post Office, your work is infinitely more important than the intelligence community. Infinitely more important. That's not a diss to anyone. The intelligence community work is important, but if you without the post office, I don't care about email. I don't care about that. You have UPS, but without the post office, it's kind of like the steel industry. You need a functioning postal service. You need a functioning government-run postal service. That's it. Freedom 1322, and they do a lot more work than the CIA. Both physical work and their existence is a lot more important than the CIA. Freedom 1322091001. You may have spoken about this, but I've missed a few streams. What do you make of a DOJ plane landing in Little Rock twice, the home of the Clinton Foundation, and taking away boxes of files? I think that it has directly to do with that. Horace, it's all good. Thank you so very, very much, Horace, as always. Basically, Freedom 1322091001. I think that it has everything to do with the Clinton Foundation, even though they're like, oh, it's a drug. It's a drug bust. It's a drug bust. It's just a drug bust. Well, drug empires, criminal empires don't take copious notes. They don't go ahead and take copious notes. So that's, the notion that that you would have two giant planes fly into Little Rock with an ongoing FBI criminal investigation. An ongoing criminal investigation. Is ridiculous. The United States Post Office Department was started from 1792 to 1971, and from the Postal Service. A lot more important than the CIA or NSA. They do a lot more for you, and their presence would be would be missed. You know who your postman is or postwoman, and you know people still write letters. So, but let's look at real quick the hilarious polls. Oh my God, 6.8. Yeah, that's right. Democrats, economist YouGov, Democrats up 4. They're done. They were tied. I love like every media, every sensationalizer was Omarosa. Then, oh my goodness, the polls went. People doesn't, but they don't ask. They don't ask like, do you think the Democratic Party has good leadership? Do you think the Democratic Party has a solid message? So Freedom 132209101, I think that has everything to do with the ongoing FBI criminal investigation of Clinton's emails, even though they're like, oh, it doesn't. But go ahead and sue. Like, that's the thing. They're so miserable. They lose at everything. They lose at everything. And they're like, well, you know, and I'm going to go ahead this week and start some uploads. So everyone who's still into my uploads, I will start doing some uploads for everybody. But go ahead and sue Trump, and then Trump will get to the bottom of Spygate even faster.
Who are going to be silent in this administration are complicit. And so they need to be able to speak out very...
Who takes this buffoon seriously? I can tell you that Democrats don't. Democrats, the way Democrats think, they're like, well, look at John Brennan. Look, he's saying something important, and he did this important thing. He was head of the CIA at one point. Do you trust him? Well, no, but he's saying a lot of bad things about Trump, so I like him. Everybody, Kim Jong-un at one point, they're like, yeah, you know, he's not so bad. It doesn't matter who hates Trump. They have zero, like, don't let them eat a hamburger. You know, he giving aid and comfort to the enemy. Hey, give me a break. This guy is here's the guy who he goes ahead and this is when he's testifying on the Russia collusion nonsense.
So I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence.
I don't do evidence. I do intelligence. Gee, thanks.
Did you find direct evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Putin in Moscow while you were there?
Mr. Rooney, I never was an FBI agent. I never was a prosecutor. So
it's okay. They don't do evidence either, Brennan. The FBI apparently doesn't do evidence either. So with Clinton, they had the evidence. Then they said, oh, she didn't mean to break laws. She didn't mean to transfer top secret intelligence on an unencrypted server in her basement. And with Trump, they're like, well, there's no evidence, but let's keep investigating.
So I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence.
I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence. Well, that's really great. I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence. Jace Faz. You can't stay in a mud monster. Trump 2020. Exactly. Exactly. So I got to write this. I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence. John O'Brien. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I just tweeted that out. So it's just so I don't do evidence, I do intelligence. Then why do we need this guy? He gets more loony every time you listen to him.
The Trump campaign and Putin in Moscow while you were there.
Mr. Rooney, I never was an FBI agent. I never was
That's okay. They don't do evidence either.
a prosecutor, so I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence.
I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence.
Throughout the course of my career. As an intelligence professional, what we try to do is to make sure that we provide all relevant information to the Bureau if there is an investigation underway that they are looking into.
Then why did you meet with Harry Reid? And not Republicans?
To criminal activity. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I was convinced in the summer that the Russians were trying to interfere in the election. And they were very aggressive. It was a multifaceted effort.
They were very aggressive. It was a multifaceted effort. Really, what they do, John? Oh, it was multifaceted. Well, what did they do? Can you give evidence? I know you don't do evidence. What did they do? Well, it was multifaceted. What did they do? What did they do? They were Facebook ads. Okay, what else? They hacked the DNC. Okay, do you have any evidence? I don't do evidence. I do intelligence. Okay, there's no evidence of that. We're highly confident. Okay. How many Facebook ads changed votes? How many votes were altered by Facebook ads? Well, we don't know. Okay, you don't know. Great. How many Twitter bots influenced votes? Well, we don't know. So, how many votes in swing states were altered? Well, we don't know. Well, then how do you know Russia did anything?
And I wanted to make sure that we were able to expose as much of that as possible.
But you didn't tell McConnell, Trump, or anyone in the Republican side. Good.
But was there intelligence that said that the Trump campaign was colluding with Moscow during their campaign?
There was intelligence that the Russian intelligence services were actively involved in this effort and having.
That's not the question. What a overt liar. It's not even, this is the thing. You're dealing with part of the country who doesn't like Trump, who wants to deceive themselves. They don't realize there is nothing there. They don't care. Right now, they would rather lose as long as they, feel good about it. Nancy Pelosi will never give up power. If Democrats win, she'll say, "Why should I give up power? It's because of me. We won." If they lose, they're going to blame Bernie voters and progressives, and they're going to say we have to stick with Pelosi or somebody just like her. They will never relinquish power, ever, 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 ever. And there's not enough progressives who will refuse to vote. The only way to relinquish power from Pelosi or anyone is to say, "Nope, not voting for you anymore. Bye." There's not enough people who will do that. Freedom 132200901. Because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has banned the press in her town halls, I will personally PayPal 100 anyone who records her rants. She said, "Oh, well, there are people who are immigrants and who are wanted by ICE or who could be wanted." It's like, what? You're running. Well, I guess she just feels she's going to win anyway. She could do what she wants without the press. I guess that's her thing. Suzanne Yoke, thank you so very much. IHA, keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne Yoke. Thank you as always. Thank you, Suzanne Yoke. Thank you so very, very much. All 700 people here. Thank you. Tell everyone about these live streams. They're growing. They're growing. Tell everyone you know about this channel. Subscribe to this channel. Tell everyone about these live streams. And let's get to very soon where we're averaging 1,500 to 2,000 per live stream, because that's going to be a monumental achievement for this channel to be able to do that. And if the 700 people tell everybody you know, people at work, family members, just let people know, because it's hard to get 1,000 people or 700 people to 1,000 to 1,200, sometimes 1,500, depending on it's really hard for a channel to do that. And I'm very, very lucky. Thank you, Suzanne Yoke. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. But it's like, this guy is hilarious. So he doesn't do evidence. He does intelligence.
Counterintelligence cases in the past. I know what the Russians try to do. They try to suborn individuals, and they try to get individuals, including U.S. persons, to
like this is the guy who voted for communist. Okay, good.
Act on their behalf, either wittingly or unwittingly.
Wittingly or unwittingly. Look at the leeway. Look at the leeway here. The guy doesn't even need evidence if he's going to go ahead and say that kind of thing. Well, wittingly or unwittingly. It's just, oh, wittingly. That's what wittingly or unwittingly. That's how Clapper lied. Did you spy on Americans? Not wittingly. These people are like, wittingly. Did you mean to, did you mean to go ahead and commit crimes? Well, not wittingly. Everything is just by accident, but you can't, if you're a Christian saucier, you can't, you're like, oh my God, you took the photos. It's deliberate. So Hillary will get charged eventually. When she does get charged, watch this channel and definitely watch Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch. It's because of them that it'll all go down.
And I was worried by a number of the contacts that the Russians had with you.
The Russians. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin. That's on John Jackson. Thank you. GoFundMe for McCabe and Strzok's payoff plain sight. Pretty much. Exactly. But they're going to have to pay lawyers. They're going to have to pay lawyers. But you know what it's like? It's so funny, like this.
It was worried by a number of.
Newsweek reported that Bill Clinton actually met with Vladimir Putin at his home while the uranium deal was going down.
Of the contacts that the Russians had with U.S. persons. And so therefore, by the time I left office on January 20th, I had unresolved questions in my mind as to whether or not the Russians had been successful in getting U.S. persons involved in the campaign or not to work on their behalf, again, either in a witting or unwitting fashion. And so therefore, I felt as though the FBI investigation was certainly well-founded and needed to look into those issues.
Did evidence exist of collusion, coordination, conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian state actors at the time you learned of 2016 efforts?
I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign.
Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign. That's a lie. We have intelligence of... Are you talking about the Steele dossier? What are you talking about? Papadopoulos is 216 into this. So he's lying. Cooper sees truth. Is intelligence not just evidence of people's habits, actions, communications, possible actions, etc.? But evidently, U.S. intel community doesn't do that. Exactly. Cooper sees truth, what he has to do is, so Cooper sees truth, what John Brennan has to do is be so broad and vague that nothing's a lie. When you say nothing, when you say everything and nothing in particular, you're not really lying. The Russians did something in the election. Okay. Therefore, we have to look at Trump's role in hacking the DNC. What? Where do you go from the Russians did something to Trump's role in hacking the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated?
That I was concerned about because of known Russian efforts to suborn such individuals.
The biggest thing that hurt Clinton was Comey's letter. And that happened because it was a failed cover-up. So that's pretty much what took place. It was a failed cover-up. And everyone, Eric H526 has a gaming channel on BitChute and on YouTube. And please go ahead and follow Eric H526 on Twitter. Share and retweet all his stuff. He is an awesome gaming channel. So all 700 people, please follow Eric H526. He's one of the moderators here. To my moderators, thank you so very much. 700 people watching. Please go ahead. Tell your friends about this live stream. I will be doing an HA After Dark about 3 to 4 hours from now. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I think I'm going to head on out, but I will be back for an HA After Dark. To the 700 people, watch the channel. Hopefully you get, make sure you subscribe and make sure you click on all notifications, get all notifications. And I just want to thank you so very much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for all your support. To my super chat, thank you. God bless. I will see you all about 3 to 4 hours or so. Thank you.